She vanished without a trace. No struggle, no forced entry, just an unlocked door, a candle still burning on the windowsill, and a dog left behind, whining softly by the back door. Evelyn Shaw wasn't the type to run. She wasn't depressed. She had just landed a promotion. She had dinner plans with her boyfriend that night, and yet, on the morning of September 3rd, 2022, she was gone. And in the weeks that followed, her disappearance would unravel a web of secrets, lies, and corruption that had festered in Millhaven, Ohio for decades. Millhaven, a town you wouldn't notice unless you were looking for it. Just under 4,000 people, one grocery store, 2 traffic lights, the kind of place where everyone knows your name and your secrets. Evelyn Shaw had lived there her whole life. Teacher, Sunday school volunteer, known for her gentle voice and late-night walks with her dog, Moose. When she didn't show up to school Monday morning, her coworkers assumed she was sick. When she missed Tuesday too, her neighbor, Mrs. Cranston, walked over to check on her. What she found triggered a town-wide panic. Evelyn's car was still in the driveway. Her purse was on the kitchen table. The TV was on, paused mid-episode of a true crime show. And her phone, still charging, had an unread message from her boyfriend, Daniel. "I'm here. Should I let myself in?" The back door was slightly ajar. The dog was locked inside the laundry room, pacing nervously. On the windowsill above the kitchen sink was a white candle, still burning. Locals in Millhaven knew what that candle meant. It was an old signal, a tradition that dated back generations. If you were scared, if you thought someone was watching, you left a candle burning in the window. That night, Evelyn was afraid. Sheriff Don Keller launched the investigation himself, a decorated officer, Millhaven's longest-serving sheriff, trusted by all. Daniel Mercer, Evelyn's boyfriend of 2 years, was brought in immediately. He looked distraught, confused, genuinely worried, but something didn't sit right. He said Evelyn went to bed around 10. He stayed up watching TV and fell asleep on the couch. But there were inconsistencies. Scratches on his arm, bleach stains on his jeans, a garage that had been recently scrubbed spotless. When asked about the scratch, he claimed the dog had gotten too playful. But Moose, Evelyn's dog, was small, and the scratches were deep. Still, there was no blood, no signs of struggle, no fingerprints out of place, and no motive. Daniel was released, but not cleared. 10 days passed, no leads, no sightings. Then, an anonymous voicemail. "You're looking at the wrong man." Evelyn had secrets, dangerous ones. Check her sister's case. The call came from a burner phone. The voice was disguised, but it changed the entire direction of the case. Evelyn's sister, Maggie Shaw, had died 2 years earlier. Official cause, accidental drowning in the Millhaven River. But Evelyn never believed it. She had told friends she suspected Maggie was murdered. She even hired someone to look into it. Caleb Rohn, former PI, former police officer, dishonorably discharged for conduct unbecoming, rogue, unstable, brilliant. Evelyn hired him 6 months before her disappearance. Together, they uncovered what they believed was a cover-up involving Maggie's death and possibly others. Whispers of missing files, witnesses who changed their stories, a coroner who retired just weeks after signing Maggie's death certificate. Caleb believed they were onto something big. And Evelyn had just started compiling a file she was planning to send to the state DA. She never got the chance. A deeper dive into Evelyn's phone and laptop revealed encrypted messages, photos of Maggie's injuries, ones inconsistent with drowning, bank transfers to an offshore account, a hidden burner phone found under a floorboard. She wasn't paranoid. She was preparing. Her internet history showed searches for whistleblower protection, VPN tools. She had drafted, but never sent, an email addressed to Attorney General Office Columbus. The final line read, "If anything happens to me, start with Sheriff Keller." 3 weeks later, Caleb Rohn reappeared in a motel outside Dayton, Ohio. He was disheveled, dirty, rambling about corruption, police involvement, and a man named Jack. When police arrived, he initially refused to talk. Eventually, he broke. She was going to expose them. "I told her to wait. She said no. Now she's gone, and I'm next." They found dried blood on his boots. Human. Blood type AB. Evelyn's blood type. He became suspect number 2. Then, a breakthrough. A city worker doing renovations in Millhaven Park stumbled upon a rotting picnic table. Beneath it, an old rusted hatch. It led to a Prohibition-era smuggling tunnel, long abandoned until recently. Inside, a makeshift bed, canned food, a journal, and a red scarf confirmed by Daniel as Evelyn's. Most chilling of all, a Polaroid photo wedged in a crack in the wall. Evelyn, alive, mouth taped, eyes pleading. In the mirror behind her, a man, barely visible, wearing a badge. Badge number 3027. Badge 3027 belonged to one man, Sheriff Don Keller. When confronted with the photo, Keller claimed it was fake, doctored, manipulated. But the evidence kept piling. Forensics found his fingerprints in the tunnel and a set of keys in his office. One matched the old hatch lock. The town's beloved sheriff was arrested, but the charges weren't murder. Without a body, they could only charge him with kidnapping, obstruction, and conspiracy. Still, he pleaded not guilty, and the case stalled again. April 12th, 2023. A barefoot woman walks into a diner in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Dirty, gaunt, rain-soaked, silent. She hands the waitress a crumpled note. "My name is Evelyn Shaw. Please call the FBI." She had escaped, held for 189 days, chained in a storm cellar on a property owned owned by a former deputy, Harold Brinks, drugged, gagged, forced to write fake letters to her family claiming she'd run off with someone named Caleb. She was moved twice, each time blindfolded. But she remembered the sound of the sheriff's voice. The trial was brutal. Evelyn testified for 6 straight days. Her story was coherent, consistent, and terrifying. 4 officers, including Sheriff Keller and Deputy Brinks, were convicted. The charges ranged from kidnapping and conspiracy to obstruction of justice and false imprisonment. But Keller never admitted guilt. He smiled as the sentence was read: life without parole. Just days after the trial, Evelyn received a call from an unknown number. She didn't answer, but the voicemail said, "You found one of us. There are more. Stop digging or disappear again." The voice was masked, digital, chilling. The number was traced to an unregistered satellite phone. The message was clear. Millhaven's secrets may have been exposed, but someone was still watching, and they weren't done yet. Evelyn now lives under a new name, in a new state, far from Millhaven, but she still sleeps with a light on, and she still won't walk past a burning candle, because she knows the shadows in Millhaven were deeper than anyone ever realized. And sometimes disappearing once doesn't mean it won't happen again.